Hi, this is Ridea keeping it real, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are reading through the Bible using the Good News Bible, and we're up to the second book in the Apocrypha, the book of Judith. Haley's Bible Handbook doesn't have the Apocrypha in it as far as overviews, so I am using Chat GPT to help with me understanding just an overview of the book before I read it. And again, when I work with chat and I'm reading the word, I'm always going to ask it from a non-Eurocentric point of view. Otherwise, it's going to give you Jesus Christ and, the things that is framed in a Eurocentric point of view, which is not always accurate. So what is the book of Judith all about? So it's the story of a righteous woman, Judith, during the time when Israel was under threat by a foreign army. People were paralyzed by fear. Judith took it upon herself to act. What did she do? She prayed, fasted, and then courageously went into the enemy's camp. She delivered Israel from destruction. So this was a woman, a widow, who in the eyes of the world was seen as weak and someone to overlook. But she did bring a mighty army to shame. The main teaching, ask it, what is the main teaching? Its deliverance does not come from weapons. I think that's important for us to know today. It doesn't come from weapons, numbers, or political power. It comes from trusting the Most High and acting with faith and courage. I think it's going to be very important for us as we move into some of the things that are getting ready to happen in the future. So learning for us as Israelites today from a non-Eurocentric viewpoint. So Judith's story talks about how Israel as a people in exile and under oppression, that we still have covenant power, even though we're a scattered people, that the women of Israel carry a prophetic role. So find your role, even as a woman in this walk, because Judith shows that deliverance can come through those in society expects the least from, and reminding us that Israelite women are pillars of strength and faith, that survival and blessing in captivity are covenant prophecy. So you can kind of see a theme here for these books that are ending up in the Apocrypha, right? Everyday faith matters. Judith's victory flowed from prayer, fasting, and trusting in Yah, not from aligning with empires and systems that oppress. So come out of her, my people. Do what you're doing with that. In short, Judith reminds us that the Most High fights for Israel, often through those who seem overlooked, and that courage is rooted in faith and can overturn empires. For Awaken Israel today, it's a call to prayer, fasting, boldness, and trust in covenant promises, even while scattered. So let's read at least the first chapter of Judith, see what it's about, that first chapter. Judith. The book of Judith depicts a time. It depicts a time when the Jewish nation was about to be crushed by an enemy army. Judith, the heroine of the story, is a deeply religious widow who observes all the requirements of the law of Moses. She depends on God to help her complete a dramatic rescue of a nation by killing Holofernes. The outline is the Jews are threatened with destruction, chapters 1 through 7. Judith saves the nation in chapter 8 through 14, and the Jews are victorious, chapter 15 to 16. Chapter 1, the war between Nebuchadnezzar and Arphaxad. Arphaxad. And sometimes I don't think we read this because of all these names and words and places that we can't pronounce. So be it, like I said, way long time ago. I may even skip the word. You see it there, it's not going to stop me. So, I know Nebuchadnezzar's name. I've read that before, of course. So, while King Nebuchadnezzar was ruling over the Assyrians from the capital city of Nineveh, King Arphaxad ruled over the Medes from his capital city of Ecbatana. Around Ecbatana, King Arphaxad built a wall 105 feet high and 75 feet thick of cut stones. Each stone was 4.5 feet thick and 9 feet long. At each gate he built a tower 150 feet high with a foundation 90 feet thick. Each gateway was 105 feet high and 60 feet wide, enough for the whole army to march through with an infantry in formation. In the 12th year of his reign, King Nebuchadnezzar went to war against King Arphaxad in the large plain around the city of Rages. And many of these places we read about in Tobit. Okay. Many nations joined forces with King Arphaxad. All the people who lived in the mountains, those who lived along the Tigris, Euphrates, and Hydrates rivers, as well as those who lived in the plains ruled by King Arach of Elam. Many nations joined this Shalattite alliance. Think about the alliances that people are making now, these different nations, against Russia or against other nations. Same type of thing. Then King Nebuchadnezzar of Assyria sent a message to the Persians and to the people to the west, in the regions of Sicilia, Damascus, Lebanon, and to Belion, and to those along the coast, and in the regions of Carmel, Gilead, northern Galilee, and Jezreel Valley. The message also went to the people living in Samaria and to the nearby towns, to those in the area west of the Jordan River, as far as the cities of Jerusalem, Bethany, Chelias, Kadesh, and to the district of Goshen. The message was also taken to the Egyptian cities of Taphanik. Now, see, if I wasn't reading this for YouTube online, and I would skip all that. I would like, whatever, it doesn't matter. And it probably doesn't. I mean, you can read it. But everyone in this whole region ignored King Nebuchadnezzar's appeal and refused to take part in the war. They thought that he had no chance of winning the war. So they were not afraid of him and sent his message back, disgraced and empty-handed. Wow. This made Nebuchadnezzar so furious that he vowed that he would risk his entire kingdom to take vengeance on all these people. He vowed that he would put to death the entire population of all these places, everyone from the Mediterranean Sea to the Persian Gulf. Yeah, see, I felt better skipping all that. But, hey, you can read it if you want to know or research it or whatever. So this is a picture of Nebuchadnezzar being furious. In the 17th year of his reign, King Nebuchadnezzar led his army into battle against King Arphaxad. He defeated all of Arphaxad's forces, including his entire cavalry and all of his charioteers. Then Nebuchadnezzar occupied all the towns in the land of Media and advanced against the city of Ecbatana. He captured the city's towers, looted its markets, and made that beautiful city a ruin. Yeah, there are people doing that now, right? Ruining cities. He captured King Arphaxad in the mountains around Rages and killed him. After he died, Nebuchadnezzar and his entire army returned to Nineveh with all the loot taken in battle. There they relaxed and feasted for 4 months. Wow. Okay. Chapter 2. And we're going to stop at chapter 2. The war against the nations in the west. In the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, on the 22nd day of the first month of that year, he and his advisors decided to carry out the threat to take revenge on all the countries that had refused to help him. The king called his general staff and senior officers together and reported in detail how those countries had betrayed him. He and his officers agreed that everyone who would refuse to help him in this war should be put to death. Then he described to them the plan of attack. At the close of the meeting, Nebuchadnezzar gave the following command of his armies and second in command to the king. Gave the following command to Holofernes, who was the general in command of his armies and the second in command to the king. I, Nebuchadnezzar, the great king and ruler of all the earth, command you to choose some experienced soldiers, 120,000 infantry, 112,000 cavalry, then attack the lands to the west because they refused to respond to my appeal for help. Warn them that they must prepare their offerings on earth and water to show that they have surrendered unconditionally. I will make them feel the full force of my anger and completely destroy them. My armies will march over every foot of their land and plunder it as they go. I will fill the valleys with their dead bodies and will choke up every stream and river with so many corpses that they will all overflow. I will take captive all those who were left alive and carry them off to the ends of the earth. He's mad. But you, Holofernes, are ordered to go ahead of me and occupy all the territories in advance. If they surrender to you, hold them for me until I come to punish them. And if they resist, do not spare them, kill them, and loot the entire region under your control. I have taken a solemn vow, and at the risk of my life and my royal power, I am determined to do what I have vowed to do. Do not disobey me in any way. I am your king, remember that, and carry out without delay every order that I have given you. So the campaign of Holofernes. So Holofernes left the king and called together all the commanders, generals, and officers of the Assyrian army. Just as the king had ordered, he chose 120,000 of the best infantrymen, 12,000 of the best mounted archers, and arranged them in battle formation. He also took along a very large number of camels, donkeys, and mules to carry the equipment, as well as many sheep, cattle, and goats for the food. Every soldier received plenty of rations and a large payment of gold and silver from the royal treasury. Then Holofernes and his entire army set out advancing ahead of King Nebuchadnezzar's, the chariots, the cavalry, and the infantry, marched out to overturn the entire western region. Other troops went with them. There were so many that it was impossible to count them. They were like swarms of locusts or like grains of sand in the desert. 3 days after they had left the city of Nineveh, they researched the plains around Beth-Talet near the mountains north of Sicilia, where they set up camp. From there, Holofernes advanced into the hill country with his entire army, his infantry, cavalry, and chariots. He totally destroyed the countries of Libya and Lydia, then plundered all the people of Racisis and the Ishmaelites who lived on the edge of the desert, north of the land of the Chileans. Then Holofernes crossed the Euphrates River, marched through the land of Mesopotamia, completely destroyed all the walled towns along the Afron River as far as the sea. He seized the territory of killing everyone who resisted him, and went as far as the southern borders of the land of Japheth near Arabia. He surrounded the Midianites, burned down their tents, and slaughtered their sheep. Holofernes went down to the plains around Damascus during the wheat harvest, burned all the fields, slaughtered the flocks and the herds, looted the towns, devastated the entire countryside, killed all the young men. Panic seized all the people who lived along the Mediterranean Sea, and they shook with fear. Everyone in the towns of Tyre, Sidon, Sur, Oshina, Jamina, Ashad, and Ascalon were terrified. Wow. Somehow I must have painted this picture from just because I like the way it looks. I still like the way it looks. Chapter 3. We're going to read chapter 3. Chapter 3, the peace delegation to King Nebuchadnezzar. All these nations sent a peace delegation to King Nebuchadnezzar. They're like, hey, don't mess with us. We come in peace. And the message was, we remain loyal to you, great King Nebuchadnezzar. We are ready to serve you and obey any command that you may wish to give us. Our buildings, all our land, our wheat fields, like basically we'll give you whatever you want, just don't kill us. Our livestock and our tents are all at your disposal. Use them in any way you wish. Our people will be your slaves, and you may use our towns as you please. Gosh. After the peace delegation had brought this message, Holofernes led Nebuchadnezzar's army down to the Mediterranean coast. He stationed guards at the walled cities and selected certain local men in each of the towns to observe troops. The people in the towns and in the surrounding countryside welcomed Holofernes by wearing wreaths of flowers and dancing to the beat of his drums. Ugh. But Holofernes destroyed all their places of worship and cut down their sacred trees. That reminds me of, where did they cut down that tree in, what was the movie? I'll think of it in a second here. He had been ordered to destroy all the gods of the land so that all the nations and tribes would worship only Nebuchadnezzar and pray to him as a god. Avatar, so I was thinking of. Then Holofernes passed through Jezreel Valley near Dothan, which faces the main ridge of the mountains of Judah, set up camp between Geba and something. He stayed there for a month in order to get supplies for his army. The Israelite plan for defense. The people, let me get this straight. The people of Judah heard what Holofernes, the commander of King Nebuchadnezzar's army, had done to the other nations. They heard how he had looted and destroyed all their temples, and they were terrified of him and afraid of what he might do to Jerusalem and to the temple of the Lord their God. They had only recently returned home to Judah from exile and had just rededicated the temple and its utensils and its altar after they had been defiled. So they sent a warning to the whole region of Samaria and to the towns of Kona, Bethel-Haron, Belmain, Jericho, Choppa, and Soria, and to Salem Valley. They immediately occupied the mountaintops, fortified the villages on the mountains, and stored up food in preparation for war. It is fortunate that they had recently harvested their fields. The high priest Joachim, who was in Jerusalem at the time, wrote to the people in the towns of Bethela and something, which face Jezreel Valley near Dothan. He ordered them to occupy the mountain passes, which led into the land of Judah, where it would be easy to withstand an attack, since the approach was only wide enough for 2 men at the time to pass. The Israelites carried out the orders given to them by the high priest Joachim and the council which met at Jerusalem. Prayer before war. The men of Israel prayed earnestly to God and fasted. They put on sackcloth. They and their wives, their children, their livestock, and every resident foreigner, every slave and hired laborer. They also covered the altar with sackcloth. Then all the men, women, and children of Jerusalem lay face down on the ground in front of the temple. They lay there in the Lord's presence, all in sackcloth, their heads covered with ashes. They joined together in earnest prayer to the God of Israel, begging him not to let their children be captured, their wives carried off, and their hometowns be destroyed. They pleaded with him not to give the Gentiles the satisfaction of destroying the temple and dishonoring it. That's them right there pleading. Verse 13. The Lord heard their prayers and saw their distress. For many days The people of Judah and Jerusalem continued their fast in front of the temple of the Most High. The high priest Joachim, the priest, and all the others who served in the Lord's temple wore sackcloth, and they ordered a daily burnt offering and freewill offering of the people, and the offerings made to fulfill the vow. They put ashes on their turbans and cried out in prayer to the Most High, begging him to have mercy on the whole nation. Okay. So, there's this evil king going through the land, being vindictive for these nations that didn't fight with him. That's where we are. That's what's going on. And the Israelites are praying to God, fasting, saying, save us, help us. I don't know. Some of these things are, you can read it as history, or you can read it as history always repeats itself over and over again. What can we learn from it? That's the way I'm taking it. I'm going to clean this up. By the time you see this on the picture, it'll be better. But right now, it looks like a mess. Like, what is she doing? What are these colors she's using? Sometimes I just do it just to get started. With it. Look at all these people. That's a lot of coloring to do. So I'm going to color that as I'm uploading this video. And again, we are reading through, probably will go ahead and color Nebuchadnezzar while I'm at it. We're reading through the book of Judith. And we've read chapters 1 through 4. So until next time, it's right at keeping it real.